Hello and welcome back here in the cave, everyone. My name is Elias, and in today's video we will again cover some interesting topics straight out of the crypto and finance space. We will talk over CC, the whole thing going on with Interpol. We will talk about Michael Saylor and how much Bitcoins the US government is going to sell or is trying to sell at the moment. We will also talk about the recent happenings in the crypto market, a chart that probably no one ever saw before, which is actually quite interesting to see. We will also look over some stablecoin dominance to probably evaluate in which direction the next move will go. My prediction for the next few weeks and months, where I think we are going and how I am positioning myself. We'll obviously talk about financial topics. Please do not make decisions based on my opinions and my informations. Always do your own research. And with that being said, let's jump into it. Before we get started, I really recommend to watch these kind of videos in 1.5 or 2x speed if you are someone who can really listen to it actively. Otherwise, 1x speed is definitely good. But sometimes when I watch these kind of videos, I always watch it in fast and just to save some time. All right, let's get started. So we are here on CoinMarketCap. We see a mix between red and green charts. We saw over the last few weeks, or especially over the last few days, that some altcoins at least outperformed Bitcoin by quite a bit, especially one, which is Dogecoin. I mean, it's right now going down again, and the reason for that was actually Twitter, because again Elon Musk had a little ace up on his sleeves. That was that he just quickly changes the Twitter logo to the Dogecoin though. Yes, I saw that even some YouTubers took a short on Doge, I think over here, so they made quite some profits there. Another currency which is actually doing very nice at the moment. I don't want to make too much promotion here, but Moneta is actually currently performing very well. I'm very happy to see that cool growth over the last few days and even months, because the Moneta ecosystem is growing faster and faster, and also Grizzly is obviously getting better and better. So really hyped about that, cool stuff to come. With that being said, to the interesting chart, which is the dominance between the USDC and USDT. So what we see here is the dominance between USDC and USDT. Why is that interesting? Because the history is actually showing us that this chart works quite well in predicting bottoms and tops. As you can see here, we saw top forming on Bitcoin. So this is the Bitcoin chart in the yellow line here, and here above I have the USDC USDT dominance within these purple channels. So as you can see, always when the dominance of the USDC was low, we saw a good out point to just go out of Bitcoin within a stable currency, USDT or whatever. And this basically means that we see what a lot of money is doing. It's going into USDT, out of Bitcoin. And this chart gives us actually quite some interesting insights when we think of that. So also here during the COVID crash, we saw forming a high. That means basically a good entry point. Here we saw an absolute low, which is forming a good point to go out. Same here. Right? Also here it would be quite a good entry point. Also here we have a quite good entry point, and here obviously a very good entry point for now. I don't want to say that this is the best chart or we should just rely on this chart. I really want to emphasize you on diversifying your information channels. If it is that you watch this channel and 5 others, or if you watch at one chart and you watch 5 other charts, don't rely on one channel, don't rely on one opinion, on one information source, on one chart, on one indicator, whatever. Always diversify. That's why I just want to show you guys different kind of scenarios, different kind of charts, indicators, and so on, that you can make your research then easily by yourself, or more easier by yourself. That's what this channel is all about. With that being said, for me, the result out of this chart is that we're more looking into a bearish section, since we saw that always when it's low, we saw a good point to go out of the market, and we're seeing that we're moving lower and lower at the moment. That's something bearish to see, and we should really be aware of this. With that being said, enough from this chart. I want to go into another kind of bearish news, which is that the US government sells under 15 million in sized Silk Road Bitcoin, plans to dump another 1.1 billion. So Silk Road was a darknet marketplace which got taken down, I think, by the US government, I think FBI or something like this. And then they took it down, and they got 41,490 Bitcoins or even more. And obviously they kind of want to sell at least a part of it, and they're starting right now with that. And this is not a good news, but what we have to consider is that press release was from the 31st of March. And when we look at the Bitcoin chart, let's go here on Bitcoin real quick. This was around this time. Probably this dump was because of that, but we recovered quite fast. The market is reacting quite positively when we think of how much money that is. Still, it's good to see that the market is that great in the fundament. And with that being said, to someone who's not selling Bitcoin, but buying even more.
But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin.
This is Mr. Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is the CEO and founder and chairman of MicroStrategy, which is a tech company in the US, and he just acquires bitcoins on bitcoins and bitcoins. It's crazy. This guy is really crazy. He buys a lot of bitcoins, and as you can see here, he acquired another 1,045 bitcoins for 29 million, and he buys bitcoins since 2019. I think, or 2020, and I just looked it up real quick. I weren't able to find exact numbers, but he owns around 132,000 bitcoins. It's even more, I think it's 140 now. So that's a ton of money, a ton of bitcoins, and he's really believing into that. And he has an average price of 30,000, so he's currently in the loss. But obviously, when the Bitcoin is shooting up again to 60,000, he will have some major bags of profits, definitely. Cool strategy of him, dollar cost averaging into the market with a bit more money than I do, but I'm also happy. So with that being said, to something a bit more bearish, which was when you watched the recent video of me last week, I already talked about it briefly. It was about CZ and Binance, that major big lawsuit happening against CZ and Binance. And it went even worse when Jordan Fish, aka Kobe, a big guy on Twitter, especially famous in the crypto industry. So this sentence was actually encrypted with the SHA-259 hashing. It's, I think, a similar or even the same that Bitcoin is actually kind of using. So Kobe actually sent a message to someone else, or was discussing that whole thing with someone else, and there were some rumors that he knows something more when someone were able to encrypt his message, because he communicated encrypted. Someone was able to decrypt his message, which was that he asked someone, I think, or he wrote something that CZ is on an Interpol red notice list. And this would mean something bad. This would mean that wherever CZ is, they would have to deliver them to the US and he would be arrested. And this would be something super bearish for BNB, for the whole market, since Binance is definitely the big player here and CZ is a key opinion leader in the space. Not true, as it looks like. Also, Kobe tweeted, "Looks like someone I discussed the rumors with leaked the seed to cause a stir at my expense. It was not supposed to be readable ever unless I revealed it. It was never meant to be published." Who knows if that's true or not. So what we know down here is that Interpol declined a comment, so we don't know if it is or if it's not. On the public side of Interpol, where you see the red notice, I actually don't know where that is, and we're not able to prove it myself, but it looks like he's not on there. We don't know what Interpol is talking about in their back offices. If someone knows, let me know. I would really like to know it, but for now, we're still kind of tapping in the dark, but I mean, it looks like everything is still up and running, even though I also emphasized on it in the last video. If you have funds on Binance, no bad feelings of just take it off and have it somewhere stored on another exchange, or even better, on a hardware wallet, on a decentralized wallet, whatever, because there really no one can take it from you. Yes, with that being said, to my dollar cost average position, which I actually have open on Binance, but I just have my dollar cost average position open. I don't have any more funds on Binance besides that. And my dollar cost average position at the moment is also in profit, right? I currently have invested 4,600 CHF, so it's calculated in Swiss franc. I currently have $6,800 invested, if I calculated that right, invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I made an unrealized profit on this position of $460. Obviously, I had a previous position. This one is actually the new one. The previous one is way more in profit, but I took it out and put it on DCHF on the Moneta platform to farm some or take a loan on it and then farm with that loan a bit. So cool times for a yield farmer out there, I can promise you this. With that being said, to the last thing, which is my kind of prediction or what I also emphasized on in the last video. I really think the yellow lines here, by the way, are the halving events. So this was second halving. Obviously the first one was all the way back here. The second one was here on July 9th of 2016. Here was it in 21 in May 2020, and the next one will be 2024, all 4 years. And what's interesting to see, the interesting pattern I think is out there, and what I'm emphasizing on in the last few videos is that I think that 2023 is kind of 2019. So we see here in 2017, after 364 days, so exactly 1 year, we reached the all-time low here, right? And we actually almost tested on it back here when the COVID crash happened. And actually here a month later, the halving came. And from there on, we just went up. And I think when we look at it, so the high was here this was November 21, and we experienced a super low here on the 7th of November in 2022. So my thing, and this is what I'm emphasizing on, is 2019 was a lot about just movement up, then a bit down again, and then we crashed again, and from there on we really started into the bull market. And I think 2023 or the next bull cycle will be kind of the same. I think we see exactly these kind of movements here. I think we had a first run up here. I think we could even go higher. I think this area between 28 and 40,000 is a quite popular one, something that we can settle in. And over the next few months, and I think also the summer, will be a good one for Bitcoin. I think we will see some slight movement up still. I think this section, as I mentioned, is something that we can work out, and I think it will be not crazy green, it will be not crazy red, but I think it will be like 2019. I remember back then we were also quite euphoric when we started to move up again, because it was after such a long time. It was like, oh, finally green candles again, but we shouldn't be too euphoric. So great time to dollar cost average in. That's my strategy. Let me know your strategy in the comment section. Besides that, I really enjoyed this video today, just to update you on the current market situations, what I think, and so on. If you like these kind of videos, I would really appreciate a like or a comment. With that being said, I really hope that you can also make some cool profits over the next few weeks, months, and years. And I wish you a very nice rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.